You don't really laugh from the heart.
That's true.
Let's start out with that one. Do you think
Yeah.
Ant-Man has a lot of laughs from the heart?
Laughs from the heart. Yeah, I think that was our mantra throughout the movie. Let's create a movie full of laughs from the heart.
Well,
I'm going to steal that from you.
But that's interesting. There's a lot of the typical shrinking movie is the Fantastic Voyage, where literally someone goes into a capsule and goes into a heart. Why do you think America likes those types of movies and that type of shrinking?
I think there's something really compelling and almost childlike about shrinking, about experiencing your environment, or like in Fantastic Voyage, a human body, from a radically different perspective. Like, we all spend time in our homes and in our workplace, but if you're shrunk down, it becomes, the distance between these two chairs, that becomes an adventure in and of itself. How do you get from one place to the other? And that was what was fun about the movie. It didn't take place, in outer space or in some other environment. It was kind of the mundane real world, but from a really, really different perspective.
Talking about, instead of a change of place, a change in time. Everyone's been on about how amazing Hank Pym is in this movie and about the world of the 70s. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, are we going to see more of the swinging Marvel set? Are we going to see Ant-Man in his prime?
That has yet to be determined. We really will start writing. We have tons of notes and ideas and things that we set up in the first movie. But there's been a lot of discussion about that, but there's no real definitive answer.
No exclusives.
I can't know. Well, I can tell you that, that Michael and Hank Pym is going to be a huge part of the movie still. In terms of how much time jumping in different eras, that remains to be seen.
How much of Hank was on the cutting room floor? Is there anything from Dr. Pym you really wanted to get in there?
I think pretty much everything that we wanted in the movie is in the movie. We shot an opening scene that took place in Panama in 1989, which was sort of a standalone thing of the moment where you saw the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. had betrayed him, was trying to replicate his formula, and they were keeping this in a safe somewhere beneath this hacienda in Panama in the 80s. And there was a sequence where you see Hank Pym go get it out. And we shot that sequence, and very early on in cutting, it just felt very disconnected to our movie.
To just start with someone else.
To start with someone else. It took too much time, and it kind of killed the pace, and we felt that there was a more compelling way to introduce Hank Pym into our movie. And then we ended up not putting, there's little glimpses of that in one of the extended scenes on the Blu-ray as Hank and Scott are sitting at the monitors, and you'll see a couple of sequences from that Panama
This is
scene.
when I went to Panama in the 80s. You should see it.
Yeah,
that part.
exactly.
I loved it.
Yeah, and but it didn't make sense to put the whole sequence on because we never got that far with the visual effects on it.
All right. You did the director's commentary 3 weeks after the release of the movie. What have you learned about your own film in the time since then?
Zero. You have doing an audio commentary that soon after, you have zero perspective on the movie. And I talked to Paul Rudd the other day, and I was saying, we're going to do these interviews about the thing. I might have to listen to the audio commentary because I have no memory of it whatsoever. The only thing I have a memory of about the audio commentary was during the ending and the closing credits, grilling Paul Rudd for a definitive answer about which side he's going to be on in Civil War. So if you listen to the audio commentary, the very end of the commentary is me, and Paul answers the question in the audio commentary.
And then there's a clip after the audio commentary that reveals that there's going to be a making of featurette.
That's right. Exactly right.
In Sunset Boulevard, Norma Desmond said, "I stayed big. It's the pictures that got small."
Yes.
What was it like to work with the classic film diva Paul Rudd? Any stories about his divishness? Because it's clear you two got along really well, but there's got to be something.
Yeah, Paul is the least divish actor on the face of the planet, thankfully. It's one of the things I think that allowed us to make the movie in the way we did, and under the gun as we made the movie. I'd known Paul for several years socially, but I'd never worked with him and always wanted to work with him. We were able to develop a real shorthand on the movie. And one of the keys to that shorthand for me is that he comes very prepared, but he also comes willing to change everything and mix it up a little bit. And we like to have fun as we're making the movie.
How do you keep a set fun? Because as long as you have to work in this business, what do you do to keep it from dragging on?
I think it's really about everybody is there and working really hard, and there's a lot at stake on a movie like this. It's a big movie, so I think it's crucial to keep people, particularly the actors, as relaxed as possible, so that they can give their best performance, whether it's comedic or dramatic or
How do you relax someone in a tense, dramatic scene without dropping the veil of the actor?
It's not always easy, and every actor has their own different way that they come to acting. Some are more method and some are just more spontaneous, and so you have to kind of learn each person's process.
Well, one more question, reader question. Peyton, is it true that Ant-Man's suit was originally going to be leather, but you could not be swayed?
Oh my God.
We're
That's
going
the
to
best-
fire that reader.
That's the best swayed pun I've ever heard in my life.